Welcome students. Welcome to the second class of a module 5, that is brittle coating methods. Myself Veeresh Kumar, Assistant Professor in Department of Mechanical Engineering in JIT Davangere. So in the last class we have studied about what is brittle coating methods, how the stresses are going to be considered, and we have derived on crack stresses equations. Okay, how these stresses are related to the surface stress and the coating stresses. Okay, now we move on to the next topic, that is the crack patterns. It's a very important questions in VT exams. Okay, you can see here. So crack patterns. What is this crack patterns? As we see, the coating is applied on the surface. When it is the surface is under load, the cured crack, the cured coating is going to get the cracks. Okay, that crack is helpful for to understand wherever the stress is more or less. Okay, that is the process in here. So how the crack patterns are going to be considered in here? Okay, so you can see. Uh, uh, Okay. The manner in which a brittle coating fails by cracking depends on entirely upon the state of stress in the specimen to which it adheres. Okay. So whatever the crack which is going to be generated, it is mainly depending upon the surface where it is having the stresses. The failure behavior of the coating is determined by the magnitude of sigma 1 and sigma 2. So that failure behavior is going to be considered. Okay, the crack is going to get failure by getting the cracks. So that can be determined by magnitude of sigma 1 and sigma 2, that is principal stress. The principal stress is in coating. Consider the following special cases when the specimen is subjected to direct loading. Okay, so some cases are considered in here, how the cracks are going to be generated when the sigma 1 value or sigma 2 value are going to be changes. See here, first case, case 1, where sigma 1 is greater than 0, sigma 2 is less than 0, and sigma 3 is 0. So we are considering sigma 3 is 0. In here, the sigma 1 is having some value which is greater than 0, and sigma 2 is having value which is less than 0. So it is having negative stresses. So see this diagram. These are the sigma 1 stresses. This the horizontal variations which are going to be seen in here, these are the sigma 1 stresses. Okay, so this stress is applied in this direction. Okay, and you can see sigma 2 is in this direction. You can see sigma 2 stresses are in this direction. As per the case, sigma 1 is greater than 0, means sigma 1 is having some value which is greater than 0, and sigma 2 is less than 0, which is having lesser value. So according to the sigma 1 is equal to 0, the cracks which are generated perpendicular to the application of sigma 1. These are the cracks you can see, the lines which are produced in here, these are nothing but the cracks. Okay, it is generated because of sigma 1. Okay, so since it's having some positive value of stresses. But if you see in the sigma 2, there is no positive value, there is negative value, so you don't find any stresses in here. Yeah, if it having any stresses, the perpendicular stresses are going to be generated in here. So in this first case, the sigma 1 having the loads in one direction, so that perpendicular cracks are generated which is parallel to the sigma 2 direction. That type of cracks which are going to be generated in the case 1. Okay, so in this case 1, in this case only one set of cracks forms and they are perpendicular to sigma 1. These cracks indicate the principal stress direction of sigma 2, and the consequence, the crack represent stress trajectories or isostatics. Okay, it will represent the stress trajectory, how the stresses are going to be determined. So case 2, you can see the case 2 in where you can say sigma 1 and sigma 2 are greater than 0, means both are having positive values, and sigma 3 is equal to 0, but they are not equal. Sigma 1 is greater than sigma 2, sigma 2 is having more than 0 value. So sigma 1 is higher stress. Okay, that we have to consider. Later sigma 2 having some stress, then it is positive. Okay, and sigma 3 is considered as 0. So you can see the crack patterns in the diagram. Okay, you can see this is sigma 1 and sigma 1. This is the direction of stress. Okay, and sigma 2, and this is sigma 2. This is sigma 2. So you can see both are applying having stresses, and according to the condition, sigma 1 is greater than sigma 2, means first sigma 1 having the higher value of stress which is applied first, and you can see the perpendicular to sigma 1 direction cracks are going to be generated, means first vertical line of crack is going to be generated according to this diagram, is the first cracks which are generated which is vertical. Okay, so that is first formed. Then when the sigma 2 having the value which is in the stress limiting value, so that when it crosses the limits, it also creates the stress cracks which are perpendicular to the sigma 2 direction. These are the perpendicular cracks to the sigma 2 which is generated. So these cracks are the secondary cracks which are generated in the model. So for this type of condition, we will get this type of crack pattern in the surface. Okay, by that we can understood how the stresses are determined and what is the case of stress distribution in the material. You can see for these two families, the crack can form the first set of crack due to sigma 1. Similarly, they have explained the same thing. Before going to that, this type of crack patterns appears in the pressure vessels. Okay, we can see the pressure vessels. The vessels are nothing but cylindrical in structure. If you apply the coating over that cylinder, first what happens when the whatever the pressure develops inside the pressure vessel, which will intend to increase the diameter of that vessel. Okay, it will first try to increase the diameter of the vessel. Because of that, what happens? The stress is more in that, and the crack patterns appears according to the diametrical stress. That is because of hoop stress. You can also call it as a hoop stress, which is twice larger than sigma 2. Sigma 1 is the hoop stress, which is twice, means it is double larger than sigma 2. And after that, as increases pressure, the elongation is also taking place in the axis of the cylinder or pressure vessel. So that is also called as axial stress. So this is also going to make the patterns like that. This is that similar pattern which is going to appear in that. So like that, the usage can be taken by this type of case in the pressure vessels. Next case, the case is sigma 1 is equal to sigma 2. Means in this, that both having the same value, sigma 1 is equal to sigma 2, but it have the positive value, means it is greater than 0. Sigma 3 is equal to 0. So how the crack patterns are appears? You can see here, the crack patterns are random in here. Okay, the loading is equal in both directions. The crack patterns which are generated it is random. Okay, so when the sigma 1 is equal to sigma 2, as any type of as any point on the body, the stress system is said to be isotropic, means equal stresses are applied at each direction, and every direction is a principal direction. Every direction is a principal direction. If the value of sigma 1 and sigma 2 are sufficiently high, the coating will fail. However, the crack pattern produced will random in character. The crack pattern of this form are often referred as Kray's patterns, since the crack have no preferential directions. Okay, it is called as Kray's pattern, and it doesn't have the preferential direction. It is will be distributed in random direction. So by that we can understand this case. Okay. So fourth case. In this fourth case, sigma 2 and sigma 1 are lesser than 0. Okay, these are lesser, both are lesser than, means they are, both are negative values, but sigma 2 is very less, sigma 1 is just some amount greater than sigma 2, but it's also a negative value, sigma 3 is equal to 0. In this instance, the coating is subjected to a state of biaxial compressive stress, means till now we have seen the tensile stress, but in this case negative stresses are there, so it will be a compressive stress and will not crack under direct load. There is no crack is going to be generated in this type of case. However, if the compressive stress are sufficiently large, the coating will fail by flecking from the surface of the specimen. Means what happens? It will lose its bonding property and it will fleck. So by that the coating is going to fail. The brutal coating have failed by the flecking are not common in elastic analysis, where loads are limited to maintain stresses in specimen below the yield stress of the specimen. Means if it is crosses the yield stress, then only that whatever the flecking is going to appears. So next we want to see some techniques by that it will helpful for the determination of coating, understanding the stresses by using the coating. It is possible to obtain coating cracks in low stressed region by employing refrigeration technique with brittle coating. As we see, low stressed regions are nothing but the stress is very low. In that type of condition, how you are going to determine the how you are going to make the whatever the coating is going to get the cracks. Actually, cracks are going to get the crack. The coating is going to get the crack when it is having its limiting value of strain, and when that crosses, it will get the cracks. But in a low stress regions, we have to determine. First, the specimen is loaded until the stress is in the critical region just below the yield stress. First, what you have to do? You have to load the specimen such that it should not cross its critical whatever the yield stress. Okay, then the coating is subjected to rapid temperature drop while under load. So what happens? We are applying the load, and before that loading we have applied the coating. So in that situation we apply the after that in the loading condition, what we do, we will drop the temperature of coating. Okay, we will apply some ice, or we will apply some compressed cold air. By that it is going to be temperature drop is going to take place. Okay, the rapid temperature drop produces a state of hydrostatic tension in the coating, okay, which is superimposed upon the existing stress in the coating due to load. Okay, so what happens, because of that rapid cooling, it have experienced the hydrostatic tension. By that it is going to superimposing upon the existing stress in the coating due to load. Means there is a two type of stresses that develop. One is hydrostatic stress tension, and second one is the stress due to the loading. The combination of load and thermal stresses because of hydrostatic are used sufficient to produce the coating failure and crack patterns. That type of cooling which will make two type of steps application to the coating, by that it will make some crack patterns. The direction of resulting cracks is coincident with the one of the principal stress due to the load, since the isotropic thermal stresses have no preferential direction. So if you apply the load, that cracks is going to coincide with one of the principal stress. Okay, by that we determine the stress. This technique is simple to apply, and the results are accurate providing the coating stress due to the load is sufficiently large. Whatever the refrigeration technique is very simple. For to cool it, in order to reduce the temperature of coating, two methods are used. One is ice water. We just on the surface of coating we apply some ice water, but actually it is not very much successful because it will not give the proper cooling to that whatever the thing. As a stream of compressed air is passed through the box container of dry ice and it is directed into the surface of the coating model, the stream of much cooled air can accurately directed and the resulting crack patterns can be closely controlled. Okay, so these two methods are going to be used. Next method is a load relaxation for compressive stresses. Since we have seen that we are considering the crack patterns only for the tensile stress, but if you consider the compressive stress, how we are going to determine that stresses? So there is one method by using the load relaxation method. See here, a brittle coating does not respond to compressive loads. Okay, the brittle coating not going to respond to the compressive load. In order to overcome this difficulty, a relaxation technique is applied. A load is applied to coating specimen before it has opportunity to dry. What we do? We will consider one specimen. We will apply the coating, and in a very fast manner we are going to apply the load. Okay, before the curing, the coating is not yet dried. So in that condition only we apply the load. This load is maintained on the coated specimen until the drying is completed. So we will apply the load until the coating is going to dry over the specimen surface. Under this condition, the coating is stress-free while the specimen is highly stressed in the compression. So there are two conditions in here. One is coating, which doesn't have any stress because it is cooled according to that condition, but the specimen having the load because we applied the load earlier. Okay, so the coating, if you, before coating dried, we are applied the load. So the specimen is experiencing the load, but the coating is not experiencing any load. When the roller is released, the specimen will stretch. Okay. Now the specimen is stretching. What we applied the compressive load now, before. Now what happens? When you remove that compressive load, the specimen get stretched. Okay. The specimen is going to be stretched. Since because of that stretching, since it was previously compressed and tensile stress will develop a coating caused by the coating cracks. What happens? The surface which is coated to the coating, which is brittle, when it is stretches, thus this coating experiencing the tensile load. So because of that tensile load, it will create the crack patterns. By that crack patterns, we determine the stress of a compressive load. Okay. By that we can understand this load relaxation technique. So you can see here that the diagram which is shown. First we will consider two conditions. One is the compressive load is applied in this direction, sigma 1 and sigma 2. If you consider this as sigma 2, sigma 2 is considered in here and sigma 1 in this direction. Okay. And if we apply in means it's after the whatever the diagram shown in here, it is the relaxation thing. It is not under a loading. What happens? How the stresses are going to be seen here. So the compressive load is applied on four directions, that is sigma 1, sigma 2. Okay, what happens? The specimen is compressed. We cure the coating, then we will release it. When we release it, in which direction we will release? If we release the relaxation in one direction, we will get the patterns in one direction. These are the one direction. In the other two direction also we are going to get crack. If you release in the both direction, we will get this type of crack patterns. Okay, so like this we can see the crack patterns in the load relaxation. Okay. Okay, thank you students. By that we completed the class 2 of a module 5. I hope you understood a lot of things in this chapter. Next class we are going to do the next topics. Okay, so if you have any queries, you can just contact me. Okay, thank you.